Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of DIY Chris. I'm Chris, and in this episode we are going to be putting together a DRAM tester. I sell these on eBay and on my website, and they are just a little tiny tool to help you troubleshoot 4164 and 41256 DRAM. That is common to the Commodore 64. So, I'm trying not to make this channel all about Commodore 64 stuff, but it's been at the forefront of what I've been working on lately. To which to say that not the least is that I am actually working on a lot of Commodore 64 repairs. I got two recently from my website. Two people filled out the free service repair form, and that's basically what I do is I take in the C64s, I fix them for free. If there are any parts involved, I charge for the parts, no labor, and then ship them back. That's how that works. So what I've been thinking, though, is as I was doing this, is there's no reason that we can't give away free C64s on YouTube, right? So how many of you watching this channel would like to have a free It's going to suck saying this. It's just a tongue twister for me now. How many of you on YouTube would like to have a free C64? They're going for anywhere between, I don't know, $50 to $300 on eBay. Some people are crazy and they're trying to get $1,000 or $2,000 for them. I know that there are some rare cases where you can get that much if you have one of the super rare golden Commodore 64s, but I mean, who has those? It'd be cool to have one. I would love to have one hanging on my wall, but I'm not going to spend as much as they are going for. No way. So anyways, back to the point. I want to give away free stuff on YouTube. I'm going to, at the, let's see, how will I do this? I think the best way to do this is that I'll do a poll once a month. We'll do a poll once a month. And then from the poll, I'll basically title it something like Free Commodore 64 Giveaway. Click like and comment on the poll to basically receive a free 64. You also have to be subscribed to the channel, right? So here's some conditions. Let me just put that forth for you guys. Number one, you have to be subscribed to the channel. If you just answer the poll without subscribing to the channel, then I will not pull from your name. And if I do pull your name and I find out you're not subscribed to the channel, then I'll pull in their name. And that's easy for me to check. So please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Number two, I'll have a poll that says free giveaway for the month, and then maybe what I'll do is I'll do some votes, and maybe there'll be like a Commodore 64, Cartridge, something else, and then you guys will get to vote on it. Why someone would choose a Cartridge over a Commodore 64 is beyond me, but hey, to each their own, right? So you guys will pick from that, and then whatever is the winner, right, is going to be what's been going to be given away, and then I will pick a winner from that bunch. So if there's only 10 people, your chances are 1 in 10. If there are 200, then your chances are 1 in 200. But the goal is to have a winner every month. And as the channel grows, and I get more subscribers, then the goal is to have maybe once every 2 weeks, and then once every week. And then if we grow beyond what I can even imagine, then maybe we'll have one every day. But that's like way off into the future. Now, to keep things short, I don't want to talk too much more about this. I actually have to get this done. But one more thing is that if you guys want to help out, and you know, would be great if you guys have anything that's dead. Could be Commodore 64 systems, 128s, 16s, C64Cs, 1541 drives, 1541-2s, 1571s, 1581s, whatever you have, data sets, joysticks, whatever you have that you want to give away, that you want to donate through the channel, feel free to send that to me. If it's broken, I'll fix it, and then we'll give it away. I'll even throw your name in the credits and say, hey, this was donated by blah, blah, blah. And you are the winner of this item. Thank you very much. So that's how we'll do it, okay? No money involved, no nothing. The only cost that you'll incur, obviously, is shipping it to me, but, you know, that's pretty much, I think, negligible. We're talking, what, $10, $15 to ship a Commodore? So it's not that big a deal. Plus, you know, we're doing something nice for everybody else, right? So let's do that. Let's come together and let's build this community and you know, help each other out, right? So all that said, sorry for the long, super long intro. We're going to go ahead and get to putting this thing together, okay? So, first things first, if you hear a printer in the background, that's because I'm printing one of these. So, what I want to do is I want to put this together not just because I want to show you guys how it's done in case you find the open source documents and you want to build one yourself, but because I also want to share how, I don't know, some best practices that I've come across building these, or soldering in general, right? It's not just this. So, number one, this is a two-piece design, right? So this board is basically going to come together like this, and then sit inside of this case. And once you see how it's in the board, how it's in the case, you'll know why I built this way. And, you know, for simplicity anyways. So the way that I like to start is I like to start with the bottom board. And a lot of you will probably go for the easiest one and be like, alright, I'm going to solder this USB adapter in here. It looks pretty simple, so I'm just going to stick that on and then solder it. Well, that's probably not going to be the best way to go. Number one, because you still have to put this socket in here. And if you don't have anything to help you, like the helping hands to hold something, or any other way to get this to stay in, if you try to lay this down, it's just going to fall out. So you're not going to want to start with this. This would be a good one to start with if you didn't have anything that was lower. So what I do is I always start with the lowest profile component, which in this case is going to be this resistor, okay? This is a 10K resistor, brown, black, orange, and that's just going to go right here, okay? So I'm going to turn that around. See how nice and flat that can sit? You don't need any helping hands or anything else to get that where it's at. Keep it steady, right? So, I'm going to go ahead and solder this in. Okay, that looks good to me. Go ahead and trim these back. I usually like to trim these as far back as possible to the board, just to keep things nice and clean. So now we've got two options here. One, we have this crystal, the 16 megahertz crystal, and that's for the Arduino. And we've got these 22PF capacitors. Now they are about the same height as that crystal, so we can put those in there together, along with the crystal, and everything should be fine. So we should be able to lay this down, and it should be flat. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and solder all the leads, and then when we're done, just going to inspect it all and make sure that it's all flush with the board. And that's because, you know, you could just, it doesn't have to be flush with the board. Nothing has to look neat. But I think that everyone kind of has their own way of doing things, and to me, if you're going to do something like this, then it needs to be done right. It can't look sloppy. Right? There has to be some kind of aesthetic component to this, I think. Now, while the board may never be seen, because it's always going to be inside of the plastic housing, you know, you can kind of out of sight, out of mind, right? No one's going to see this, so I'll just leave it where it's at and not worry about making it look nice. You know, if Steve Jobs would have had that mentality, then Apple would not be where it is today. It would have just been another PC. That aside, I find it very important to make this thing look aesthetically pleasing. Number one, because if someone ever does open this up to have a look and see what it looks like in there, then they're going to see that whoever built this was either a machine or a perfectionist. You know, to be truthful, I'm not trying to be a perfectionist. I mean, so even the layout of this, like when I designed this board, I was very meticulous to make sure that all of the pieces were aesthetically laid out in such a way that it just looks good, right? So, and then, you know, you have to always balance your form over function, function over form. So form and function pretty much have to be like together. You can't just have one or the other. You know, if you have form, then probably your device isn't going to work very well. You have to take into consideration, okay, well, if I'm going to put a capacitor, the reason that I'm doing it is because it's a bypass capacitor, and it's going to help filter out noise on the power lines, right? So the best place to put one of those capacitors is right next to the IC, right? As close to pins of power of the IC as possible. So this capacitor that I'm talking about is this one, this 0.1 UF capacitor, right? I have this up here, and it's pretty close to the power, right? That's pretty close to power and ground. Now I could have put this like way down here for some reason, and it may have looked better in some regard and some not, but there's no way that it would have performed as well as where I have it now. So when you place components, when you're designing these, it's just as important to make sure that you put them where they need to be. Otherwise, what's the point of having it there, right? There's that. And that one. Alright, trim these back. Good. Alright. Now, we have to put these female header pins on. And these are so that the top board, I can put the male headers on, and then it just kind of sits in here just like that. Okay? So I'm going to turn this over. And then I'm going to solder just the corner pieces, right? So going to solder this part over here. And then this one. Let me clean the tip of this. And then this one. And come on. This one must be on the ground plane. You can always tell when it's on the ground plane because the ground plane always sucks up all the heat. It makes it hard to solder on. Alright, so the one on this side looks nice and straight. The one over here looks like it's curving a little. So we're going to have to move it a little down. So I'm going to heat this up just for a little bit. Okay, and now we'll have another look. That looks good. As far as them bending in this way, it's easy to just kind of bend it out like this. And then when you have them perfectly positioned, then you can come back and solder the rest of the pins. A few seconds is all you should ever spend on a pad. Most of the time the copper layer on these boards is really thin, and if you heat these up too much, it'll separate from the fiberglass. And then you lift up the pad, possibly break the trace, and then you'll have to start all over with a new board, if you even have a new board. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. Look at that. One more thing. finally get the solder on this USB plug. The cool thing about these are that the legs here, they are kind of bent and they have some tension, so they kind of hold it in place for us, so I don't have to worry about it too much. So what I like to do with these is I like to actually start with the legs, just kind of fill the holes in with solder, and come back and reheat it one more time. Get a nice little mountain of solder there on these. That'll really hold that in place. And we'll do the pins. Gotta do the pins. There was one instance where I soldered in the legs and then I totally forgot about the pins, and I plugged the device in and it wasn't working, and then I started troubleshooting and I was like, wow, I'm not getting any power. I plugged the USB in, looked at this, and I was like, oh shit, I didn't solder in the legs. Well, lesson learned. Alright, so bottom piece is done. Let's do the top. The top, we'll do this. We'll start with the same thing here. We've got 3 resistors. We have some 470 ohm resistors, and those are for the LEDs. Originally, if you look at the board, I have these marked as 220, and I thought that that was going to be sufficient for the LEDs, but they were just too damn bright and literally blinding, because they're blinking as the memory tester is testing the memory. So yeah, that was not good. And then we have this 1K resistor here. Okay, I'll turn this over and do some soldering. This one I'm going to turn to the side. These capacitors are really close together. Okay. Go ahead and trim these. Okay. Because I already know how this is going to go, it's easier to go ahead and put these male headers on. So what I do is I stick these into the female like this, and then I break off. This way I don't have to count them. Makes it real easy. Now I already know from experience doing this before, we need a 3-pin header here. So I'm going to go ahead and break off 3 pins. And that's for our jumper selection. Okay. So the way I do this is I literally just place this on top of here, like that. So now we're sure that it lines up. So now we can go ahead and solder those in. And then I'm just pushing down on the board while I'm soldering so that it sits flush with the pin headers. Okay. Go ahead and solder the rest of them. See, if I would have done these last, all of this other stuff would have been in my way, which is doesn't make it impossible, it just makes it more difficult. It makes this whole thing just take that much longer. There's that. Let's do the other side. I think the next thing I'll do is the screen, the OLED screen that I have here. Okay, so take this out. There we go. Now we can take this screen. I like to take this tab. This is a tab for the protective film on the LCD. So I like to just peel this, just not peel it off, but just push it back, because we're going to put this eventually into the case, and I want to make sure that this doesn't get closed inside of the case so that you can still peel it off. I like to give people the opportunity to peel this off themselves. If they want to leave it on or wet, it doesn't matter, but I know for some people it's like the highlight of their new thing is like, oh, I get to peel off some plastic. It's so aesthetically pleasing. I know. I love it too. So, that's why I leave it there. So I start with this one over here. And then we'll look at the LCD, and it looks like it needs to move. So we're going to do that. So I'm moving it. Need to make sure that this is good. It's not. Okay. That looks right. So we'll go ahead and solder the rest of these pins. That one. This one, and one more. Nice. Okay. So that's that. Now the next thing is going to be the LEDs. So we've got our bad LED. Oh, and by the way, tip is, and I'm sure you guys know this, but the longer lead is always the positive and the shorter is the negative. The shorter lead is also going to be on the flat side of the LED, just kind of like how it is here on the silk screen. And so you just make sure that you position those properly, because if you have this reversed, it's not going to work. Flow of electricity will not go that way. Alright, so we'll do these. And one thing that I've also learned while doing this is that it's much easier to make the LED straight if I put these buttons on, because they are about the same height as the LEDs. So we can put that in, like that. Now we can turn this over. And there we go. Start soldering. What I'll do is I'll do one side first. So one leg here, and then this leg, the outside legs. And then I'll turn it over, and then I will push down while heating it up just to make sure that it's flush with the board. Because these have to actually be positioned 100%, because they are actually going to go through the holes here in the case. Okay? Alright, so next, this one. And this one. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and trim these. I'm also going to trim the legs of the OLED, but those legs, they suck because they're literally the same as these pin headers, right? They're the same kind of leads. So they're really thick. They will destroy your cutters. So make sure you have a pair of cutters that you don't mind destroying, and then try to get in there as far as possible and then clip. See, I don't even know where that went. I can hear them bouncing off the wall. Alright. Good. Good, good, good. Alright. Now normally we could leave these because they're not that long, but they would interfere with the Atmega that's going to sit in here. Okay, so that's why we have to trim those back. So now what we need to do before we forget is we need to actually solder in these buttons. I have forgotten that before. I'll go to like clean up this PCB after getting it done, and then realize when I come back that I didn't actually solder the buttons, so then I have to do the whole cleaning process again. And for me, the cleaning process is actually not so bad. I don't use like an ultrasonic cleaner or anything. The way I clean is I have contact cleaning solution that I buy from Walmart. Should be able to find that in the automotive section. I use that, or I also use the WD-40 contact cleaner. Both of them work fine. Basically I spray it down, and then I take a toothbrush with some soap, and then I kind of scrub the PC board until it comes out clean. And yeah, so that's how I do that. Alright, so let's do this jumper next. What I usually do is I just kind of hold it with the tip of my fingernail, turn the board over, and it's easier is if you just clip off a piece of solder. Doesn't have to be much, just kind of like this right here. Lay it next to the pin, and then get your soldering iron and just hold it up, and there you go. That pin is soldered. Now you can go down and you can solder the rest of them. Come on. What are you doing? Alright. So that jumper is now in place. The last thing we have to solder onto here is this ZIF socket. Also, another trick, the neat thing about this thing is that when you close these, their pins kind of come out this way. So when you open it up, they're straight. So I can put this in here like this, and then close it. Not only does it take the lever and move it out of the way, but it also creates a good connection with the ZIF socket so it doesn't fall out. So it's literally where I need it to be, and I don't have to worry about it falling out while I'm soldering these pins on. So that's kind of cool. So I'm going to go ahead and solder this thing in. You know, and the reason that I'm showing you guys this is because there are a lot of people who swear that soldering is easier with like a set of helping hands, and I agree maybe to some extent. At some point it's, you know, beneficial to have something like that to help you hold on to stuff, but I tried so hard to like them and to use them, and they just seem more of a pain in the butt to me than anything else, because you've got to get your thing in there, and then you've got to position it, and then if you got to move it, you have to reposition it. This way I can just turn this thing around as long as I want without any issues, and I can move it from front to back. I mean, the only thing is it takes a little bit of planning as to, you know, how you're going to solder on your components, you know, which ones to do first, which ones to do last. But I mean, as you can tell, I soldered this whole thing together without any helping hands, and it worked just fine. Okay, so now I can put this on here. I'm not going to do that yet, because what we need to do first is I actually need to go clean these, because let me show you a closer look here. Over here, if you look at how much like flux residue we have on these, this is not good, right? So I'm going to go ahead and, when I say not good, it's not bad. It's just, it looks messy, and I don't like it like that. So what I need to do is I need to clean these up, because I need them to look a certain way for me to be okay with actually selling these. So I'm going to make sure that these are cleaned up. So I'm going to be right back. Okay. Okay, we're back. So the soldering is done. All we have to do now is we have to put in our ATmega, which is here, our little microchip. And what I'm going to do first is these new chips, they actually come with their pins bent out at an angle, so it makes it really difficult to put the chip into the socket. So I have these IC straightener tools that I designed and print. So So I sell these on my website as well. If you guys spend a certain amount of money on the website, I think it's anything over $20, you have the opportunity to get one of these for free if you add the coupon to your purchase, which is somewhere on the website. So have fun looking for that. But yeah, you can think I don't know. You could probably get one of these on Amazon as well, but anyways, I just 3D print these and sell them. So there we are, 80 megas in. So now we can put on the top, which actually goes this way around. Oh wait, I wanted to show you guys. So I cleaned off all of the flux residue, and this is the result of that. See how much cleaner these are? It looks so nice, especially the matte black finish. It's just super awesome. Very, very sexy boards, I think. And the stuff that I use for that, shit, I can't find it now. I don't have it on me. It's over by the sink, so if you guys want to go check that out. Yeah, so I picked that up at Walmart. It's like $5 for an 11-ounce can. So just go to Walmart and search for contact cleaner, and you'll find the WD-40 stuff, which is pretty good, and then the stuff that I use, it's like a white bottle with like a red cap, I think. I forget the name of it, but it's in the automotive section. So, before I put this in the case, I usually like to try and plug it in and see if it actually works. And this does. If we press this button, it'll start the test, but we don't have a chip in there, so it should come back bad, which is nice. We can reset, which literally basically just restarts the Arduino. Okay, so I'm going to unplug this now. And going to go ahead and drop this in the case. Now, hopefully, after recalibrating my printer, this thing will fit a little better. And it does. Look at the buttons click, the LEDs line up, everything looks good. Like it. I like it a lot. Alright, so you see how this kind of fits in here? And then this has posts on this side to match, and it's going to kind of hold the PCB in place. I actually stole the design layout for this thing from my programmer, which has a very similar to PCB design. Okay, this looks good. Alright, so I'm going to just grab some screws really quick so you can put this together. Alright, and these screws are specific for plastic. Got these on Amazon. Where else? It's like where everyone buys everything these days, right? But yeah, these are specially made for plastic. They grip into the plastic. So these holes that my 3D printer prints for this are not tapped or anything. I just let these screws kind of dig into the plastic and make their own thread. So when I print these, my printer prints supports for the screw holes because this is printed from this side. I don't even bother to remove that support. I just kind of screw right past it. And the jokes continue. Alright. That's it. So it's all together. Nice blue, metallic looking case. Turn it on again. Works. Alright, we need to put the jumper, and the jumper where I'm positioning it, 1 and 2 is for 4164 memory, and 2 and 3 is for 41256. So then I have these labels that I also make myself. So that's the whole thing with doing this DIY thing, right? Is everything is made by yourself. I have a Cricut, and I designed these. After I designed the case in Fusion, I went and I took the Fusion, converted it to a flat file, brought that into Illustrator, and then used Illustrator to design this label. And then I created cut files in Illustrator for the Cricut to cut all of this out so that it lays down nice and flat and gives the DRAM tester a little more of a professional look rather than just being a blue case. There's that. Alright, so finally, almost done. Gotta put these feet. And I just try my best to center these on top of the screw holes. And I like to think of these as a tamper deterrent, so people don't try to go in here and mess with it. Although, like I said, it's all open source. There's really no need to ever open it up. Okay, alright, so now we're just going to test it, make sure that it detects a bad memory, which I happen to have here. So I'll open this, put that in, close it, and I was afraid of that. Sometimes, and this is a design flaw, I apologize for that. Sometimes this little thing gets in the way, and I guess I could have just made this hole here a little deeper, but yeah, we're good now. So I'm going to click test, and it's going. See the green light flashing? If I would have put those 220 ohm resistors, that would be a bright green light flashing. Now it's just like a subtle green light flashing. So it's going to do all these tests for and all, and if it finds anything bad at all while it's doing its read-write, then it's going to let you know right away. And it'll tell you exactly where it found the bad read-write. Now what's interesting with this memory chip is that sometimes, yep, it finds it like at the first pass, sometimes it finds it at the second pass, but it always finds it. It always finds it bad, okay? So the one thing that I can tell you about this memory tester is it is not the very best memory tester. It's also not a super awesome memory tester. It's literally just a device to help you find all of the definitely bad memories, right? So when this tester gives you a bad reading, then you can be 100% certain that your memory is in fact bad. You're not going to get a false negative with this. You're going to always, if this is red, it means you got a bad chip. If it's green, then it means you could have a bad chip. You could have a good chip. It doesn't know because it doesn't perform timing or any of those other kinds of tests because the Arduino is not capable of that because of its speed. So the timing test just can't be performed with the Arduino. Which is kind of sad because it would have been cool to have that functionality, but as it stands, I originally built this from a design that I found on the internet. And the reason I built this is because I had like, I don't know, maybe over 100, 200 memory chips that I needed to very quickly know which ones were definitely bad. So that actually helped me clear out about, I think I found about 30 or so memory chips that were definitely bad that I was just able to junk and just throw out. So I knew those were bad 100% for sure. So that's it. That is it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and sorry that it's been so long since the last... What is happening here? The autofocus is broken? It's because of this light? Yeah, sorry. So I'm going to unplug this then. So yeah, like I said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it was a little long with all the introduction crap, but I just wanted to get that out there that, you know, I will accept donations, I will fix bad Commodores, and I will give them away on my channel. I'm not sure about doing the polls yet, if that's going to be the medium of, you know, choice for trying to figure out who's going to win something. Maybe I'll just, one day I'll just do it randomly and see how it goes. Maybe I'll start, you know, with something a little smaller, maybe I'll give away a diagnostic cartridge or something, a PCB or something. You know, like instead of giving away a memory tester, maybe I'll give away a build-it-yourself memory tester kit, or something like that. But I'll always give something away because I like giving back. You know, people have been there for me and helped me out throughout my years, and I like to give back where I can. So, with that said, I'm going to leave you guys with, I don't know when the next episode is going to be, but I am working on content for those other Commodores that I fixed. I'm trying to get that content edited and up. This one was quick and easy because there's not a whole lot of editing involved. I don't have to, there's no troubleshooting, so I don't have to cut out random parts where I'm cursing at things and throwing things around the room because I can't get it to work. This is literally just putting something together without any fuss. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.